Okay, so today we're talking about Amish Affair, the Lifetime movie. It is inspired by actual events. So I'll be talking about that a little bit today. This will be kind of a short video. You'll have to excuse my background. I have everybody here today, husband's off work, boys here, and I have things going on in the background. So I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can, and please excuse the background noise. So we're talking about Amish Affair. It's a Lifetime movie, 2024. It is inspired by actual events. So let's talk about that part. It is not based on a true story, one true story, and it is not even inspired by a true story. It is inspired by several events, most likely. I picked out two events that I thought closely matched the movie. Not to a T, but a lot of details, I think, went into making the movie from these two stories. They'll probably say that, so the news outlets will probably all say that it's based on Eli Weaver. One person will write an article like that, and then they'll all follow and say it's based on Eli Weaver. I do not believe that it is based on Eli Weaver. I think they even made a movie about that already. I think that it is inspired by two different stories. The story of Samuel Borntreger and his mistress, his nanny, who was also the caretaker of his wife. And I think it also is inspired by Eli Strutzman Jr. or Eli Strutzman Jr. Okay? So in the movie, Lifetime movie, Amish Affair, you guys have probably already seen this, or you will have already seen this. And so compare what I'm saying to what you saw in the movie. I also want to say that for those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know that there are movies that change the races, they change the ages, and it'll be based on that case, but they change things around, or in other words, they flipped it. I think that's what they did in Amish Affair. And so we're talking about Hannah. Hannah is an Amish woman, a young lady who moves into the home of Amish leader Aaron. Aaron is handsome. Aaron is charismatic. He's also a cheater. He cheats on his wife. His wife is ailing, and he needs Hannah to take care of her. He pretends to be an upstanding man. He's a leader in the Amish community, but really behind the scenes, he is not faithful to his wife. He leads a double life. He comes on to the women. He falls into an affair with Hannah, or I should say he leads her into an affair while she's taking care of his wife. In the movie, it appears that there is another woman. I think her name is Laura or Laurie. It appears that she also had an affair with him at one time. And she sort of tells Hannah, or she alludes to the fact that Aaron has a bit of a reputation around the Amish community. So, of course, you know, Hannah gets into an affair. They make out in the barn. That's their place where they go. I mean, it's just, eventually Hannah starts to feel guilty. This man's wife is sick, and she really liked his wife. And so she decided that this was bothering her conscience. She did not want to participate in the affair anymore. And he sort of tries to ruin her life. He goes to the man that she's dating and tells the guy about the allegations about Hannah being involved in a suspicious death of another man she had been taking care of. So let's back up a bit. Hannah arrives to this new Amish community because she's trying to start a new life. Okay, she was accused of administering a lethal dose to the person she was taking care of. I believe it was her bishop. They could not find any evidence against her, and in fact, they cleared her of that. But the community, the Amish community, it's a very close-knit community, and there was a lot of gossip and a lot of speculation, and it forced her to have to leave, to start over. She didn't want to be excommunicated, and she didn't want to be shunned. Okay, so she left. Now, so that's part of the movie. Okay, so what I want to do now is tell you about these two cases. So let's start with Samuel Borntreger. Now, Samuel Borntreger was an Amish man who confessed to administering lethal doses of something to his wife. Okay, I don't want to be specific in this video. Let's keep it family friendly. But he admitted that 10 years after her demise. Now, Samuel Borntreger was a cabinet maker. He was very good with making things. He made wood furniture, and he was so talented at it. He made it for people in their, for their homes. I think some of his work was in the courthouses. He was very, very talented. In the movie, this charismatic leader makes Hannah a beautiful chair, a wooden chair. So I thought that was interesting. So those are the two correlations there. Now, the real guy used to spike his wife's drinks. He had a special tea that he used to make for her. So he spiked her tea. He did other things to her as well to sort of taint her system. But I'm not going to talk about that part. But he definitely spiked her drinks. And so when she passed away, now this woman was only 26 years old. She was very young. And when she passed away, people in the community believed that he had done it. They thought that he had done something to her. And it was also known that Samuel had had an affair with his nanny. His nanny had come there and she was taking care of Samuel's wife. So they sort of believed that they had something to do with it. When she first passed away, when Sam's wife first passed away, they thought, it was due to a liver problem that she had. But they later started to believe that it was because she had been administered these lethal doses. They ended up exhuming her body, and they were trying to find proof of that, but they still were not able to find a lot. But they were able to go back into, once they found out about his mistress and his nanny, the caretaker, they were able to go back into his wife Anna's medical records, and they found that she had been given high doses of Tylenol, which probably ruined her liver. So again, when she passed away, there were a lot of rumors in the town. The rumors were so strong and so prevalent that he was also made to leave. I mean, he just left. He became estranged from his family, and he left this Amish community, and he sold the farm. Also, in the movie, Aaron talks about how his family owned businesses. I think it was a buggy making business or something like that. And of course, Samuel, his family also ran Amish stores and Amish businesses, and he himself was a cabinet maker. Okay? Right after his wife died, he married shortly after that. I mean, everybody knew he just really didn't love her anymore. And he admitted that he didn't love his wife anymore. He just kind of wanted her to be gone. Before she died, he closed their bank accounts and put his name on it, or he changed the account from both of their names to his name. And he had been having this, secret long affair with the nanny. I mean, the lady, his wife, had been sick for quite a while, and he carried on this affair. So eventually he admitted what he did, and he confessed 10 years later, of course, and was sentenced to up to 25 years in prison for her, for that. Okay, so that was that one. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, we're still talking about Lifetime's movie Amish Affair. Now the second case that I found interesting, the next one is Eli Strutzman or Struztman. He was also an Amish man, and they believe that he ended the lives of several people. It is also believed that he was responsible for the demise of his first wife, Ida, in 1977. She was 8 months pregnant at the time. So Eli was an Amish-born man. He is described as soft-spoken, kind, and he was obsessed with keeping his hair pretty. He really liked keeping his hair nice. They said he was very strange. And in the Lifetime movie, the character, Aaron, he's also very handsome, and he has great hair. Now, the real guy, Eli, he loved making leather goods. He loved making purses and Bible covers. He was very talented at that. And he's described by the people that knew him as a meek mouse. Meek mouse. Now, remember in the movie, at the end of the movie, they believed that the wife was given rat poison. Okay, so meek mouse appears in the case of Eli Strutzman. Also, Eli loved ice cream. He was a fanatic about ice cream. In the movie, Hannah loves ice cream. And they make a point of showing us this several times. She loves ice cream. Now, before his wife passed, Eli, I told you, he closed their accounts. And she was found in the milk house. So somehow a fire started in the barn. Now, in the movie, we see a lot about the barn. Hannah and Aaron go to the barn. That's where they talk. That's where they have their sessions, in the barn. Now, in this story, true life story, there is a burning barn. So according to Eli, his wife went out to the milk house to try to salvage some of the milk equipment. So she didn't want it to catch on fire. And according to him, she collapsed. And she had to be carried out. Now, in the movie, we see Aaron collapse. He collapses outside and has to be carried away. In this story, his wife had to be carried out of the milk house. And I believe that it was either next to the burning barn or it was near the burning barn. Some articles say she was in the barn, but I think she was in the milk house. People in the Amish community believed he was having an affair. They knew about Eli's reputation. He was having an affair with all kinds of men. He liked men. And he did not love his wife. It was all pretend that his wife was really just a cover for him. He never wanted to really be married to her. He really was a gay man, but he tried to hide it. And after her mysterious demise, he sold the farm and placed ads in magazines, or he placed ads somewhere looking for a male companion. So he had to leave his Amish community. He left his family behind. He became estranged from them because everybody was talking about these rumors. And the pressure was really building up, so he left. Okay? And so remember in the movie, that's why Hannah left, because she was being accused and she was being hounded by rumors. And the Amish community was really after her and they probably wanted to shun her. And so in this story, because he was Amish, he wasn't allowed to divorce. And so the elders were putting a lot of pressure on him. And so he just left. What else? Now, the rest of Eli's story does not match the details in the movie, but I do think that there were a few things that went into the making of the plot. So life got worse for Eli when he left the Amish community. He actually left with his 9-year-old son. And so the son, probably knew all of his secrets or knew that his father was living a secret life. And investigators say that they believe he ended the lives of several people. His roommate, who was also his lover, 2 other men, and his own son, possibly. Now, the son's case was called Little Boy Blue. He was a little boy who was found frozen in a ditch one Christmas. And he had on blue pajamas. Now, no one reported the boy missing. No one reported him missing. They could not find his parents. They could not find anything out about him. So the community was so distraught over it, they buried him under the name Matthew, which means gift of God. Now, in the movie, this Amish minister keeps referring to Hannah as God's divine blessing and how much she's a gift to the family. They kept stressing that blessing, a divine blessing, gift. Hannah was a gift to him and his wife. Okay. But now back to the real story of Eli. They were unable to determine how the boy passed away. They just didn't know. At first, they thought it was Reyes syndrome. He also had, there were marks on him that had been made by rats or rodents. Now, remember in the movie, at the end, they believed that the wife was given some rat poison in her tea or in her food. Oh, no, I'm sorry. In the movie, they believe that the rat poison was put in her herbs. She was taking some herbs. He kept giving her some herbs. And they believe that the rat poison was mixed in with the liquid herbs. So they found out who the little boy was in the ditch, the frozen one. They found out who he was by putting, someone wrote an article in the Reader's Digest, and there was a sketch of the boy, and someone from back home recognized him. And that's how they were able to connect Eli to the boy, that was his son. He eventually admitted it. He said that his son had gotten sick. He had been giving him medicine, and that his son, he did not wake up one day. He woke up to give him something to make him feel better, and he was unable to wake him up, so he discarded him in the ditch and covered him with snow. And then he spent hours praying over him. But, still, he kept getting away because they couldn't find any evidence against him. They couldn't find any evidence. And eventually, they sort of believed that perhaps he maybe died of natural causes. They were not sure. But they do know that Eli was leading a double life. He spent over a decade in prison for killing his roommate. When he was paroled, his life did not get better. He ended up taking his own life. And there's no speculation as to why. If you want to know more about that story, you can read the book by true crime writer Greg Olson. This is just a quick review, you guys. But if you want to know more about that story, that is very interesting. It's in Greg Olson's book called Abandoned Prayers. Okay? And there are a few news articles that I found around the web that will also tell you a little bit more about that. Now, after Eli dies, now remember, they think he has ended the lives of a lot of people, including his first wife, the barn incident, right? They never really got any thing on him for some of those things. But after he passed away, his friend tried to find family members. He couldn't find anybody that was related to him. So he started looking through his things, and then he remembered that Eli had once given him a periodical. And in that periodical, they were advertising the 29th annual buggy making event of some sort. Now, in the movie, they show us the sign about the buggy making. I think Aaron is running the family business, and he has buggy makers, but it's the family business. And he's concerned about having a son so that his son can take over that business that his grandfather started. So in the real story, they mentioned the 29th annual buggy making event. And that's how the friend ends up finding out who Eli really was. Okay, so those are the two stories that I think the movie is based on. Again, remember, this movie is only inspired by actual events. So I think these are the stories. Amish Affair airs Saturday, July the 6th at 8/7 Central on Lifetime. All right.